Welcome to Agro TV, where we expose the hidden truths behind the machines that power the fields. Today, we're diving into a list that every farmer, collector, and buyer needs to hear. 14 used tractors that you absolutely need to stay away from. Not because they're weak or outdated, but because keeping them running might just break the bank. These are the tractors that come with deceptively good reputations. The ones that lure you in with horsepower, nostalgia, or a good deal. Until the first breakdown. Then reality hits. Parts are rare, labor is specialized, and repairs can cost more than the tractor itself. From over-engineered systems and electronic nightmares to fragile drivetrains and hydraulic puzzles, these machines have frustrated even the most seasoned mechanics. And the worst part, many of them came from trusted brands, making the surprise even more painful. In this countdown, we're not just talking quirks, we're talking recurring failures, expensive fixes, and the kinds of problems that leave your wallet gasping for air. If you've ever considered buying a classic or affordable tractor secondhand, don't move until you've seen this list. Some of these models are still common at auctions and classifieds, but there's a reason they keep showing up. So take notes, save yourself a fortune, and let's get into the 14 used tractors you should steer clear of right now on Agro TV. Number 14. The International Harvester 1586 might look like a powerhouse on paper, but this tractor often hides some wallet-draining secrets. Released in the late 1970s as part of IH's high horsepower lineup, the 1586 was built for serious field work, boasting a turbocharged 6-cylinder engine producing around 175 horsepower. It featured a 16-speed torque amplifier transmission and rugged axle options, appealing to large-scale farmers. However, that's where the trouble starts. The torque amplifier is notoriously fragile and expensive to repair, and many owners report electrical gremlins and hard-to-source parts. Add to that its thirsty fuel consumption and dated ergonomics, and you're left with a tractor that can cost more to maintain than it's worth, while it has undeniable pulling power. Owning a 1586 today is like playing mechanical roulette. Still tempted? Ask yourself, is a vintage badge really worth constant breakdowns and sky-high repair bills? Number 13. The Valtra BM110 might appear to be a tough and dependable tractor on the surface, but many owners learn the hard way that it hides a long list of maintenance headaches that can drain your time and money. Built primarily for the South American market, particularly Brazil, the BM110 was marketed as a mid-sized utility tractor, delivering around 110 horsepower from a turbocharged 4-cylinder GCO power engine. Its mechanical simplicity and reputation for reliability attracted farmers needing a no-frills workhorse. But once it starts aging, the real problems emerge. Parts are not only difficult to source outside its primary regions, but they're also shockingly expensive, even for routine items like filters, seals, or electrical sensors. The hydraulic system is particularly troublesome, known for developing leaks and poor pressure over time. With repairs often requiring specialized tools or dealer-only service, the cooling system is also underbuilt for heavy use in hot climates, leading to frequent overheating issues. Combine that with a scarcity of trained mechanics outside Valtra's core service zones, and owners are left with high labor costs and frustrating downtime. What begins as a simple tractor quickly becomes a costly liability, especially when aftermarket support is limited. So before buying a BM110, think twice. Is a basic machine really worth it when every repair feels like a premium-priced service call? Number 12. The Alice Chambers 7580 is one of those tractors that looks like a beast in the field, but behind its massive frame lies a long list of costly maintenance nightmares that have made many owners think twice. Released in the mid-1970s as Alice Chambers' ambitious entry into the high-horsepower four-wheel drive market, the 7580 packed a turbocharged 6-cylinder 426 cubic inch engine producing around 215 horsepower. It came with a full-time four-wheel drive system, articulated steering, and a striking cab-forward design that promised comfort and visibility. On paper, it was built to compete with the heavyweights of big-acre farming, but in reality, its design was rushed and mechanically underdeveloped for the kind of hard use it was marketed for. The biggest issue lies with its 18-speed power director transmission, which struggled to handle the tractor's torque under load. Premature transmission failures were common, with repairs that could cost thousands in both parts and labor. The articulation joints and driveline components wear out faster than expected, and once they go, they require major disassembly to access, translating into long shop hours and eye-watering bills. Even the 426 engine, while capable, lacks broad parts availability and shares little with more modern or common power plants, driving up rebuild costs and limiting mechanic familiarity. Add to that dated hydraulics, frequent electrical gremlins, and a maintenance layout that's anything but user-friendly, and you've got a tractor that demands constant attention. Routine tasks often take longer than they should, and even simple fixes can turn into full-blown projects. For collectors or die-hard Alice fans, It might hold nostalgic value, but for a working farm, it's a machine that can drag down both uptime and your bottom line. So before falling for its commanding stance and badge history, ask yourself, is the Allis-Jomer's 7580 worth the constant wrenching and wallet pain it brings with every season? Number 11. The John Deere 8630 might carry the legacy of a trusted name and the commanding presence of a true four-wheel drive workhorse, but it's also remembered for being one of the brand's most expensive maintenance traps. Released in the late 1970s as part of Deere's push into high-horsepower articulated tractors, the 8630 was powered by a turbocharged 6-cylinder 531 cubic inch diesel engine producing around 275 horsepower. It came with full-time four-wheel drive, a robust-looking frame, and the familiar SoundGuard cab that promised operator comfort and modern ergonomics for its time. On paper, it looked like a solid investment for large-scale farming, but reality told a different story. The 8630 was plagued by serious mechanical issues, starting with the 531 engine itself, which was simply not durable enough for the loads this tractor was expected to handle. Engine failures due to cracked blocks, dropped sleeves, and head gasket issues were far too common, often requiring full overhauls that ran into the five-figure range. Worse yet, John Deere later replaced the 531 with more reliable engines in future models, leaving the 8630 as a mechanical orphan with limited compatibility and high rebuild costs. The transmission and final drives also struggled under stress, and the articulation joints wore out quickly, leading to sloppy steering and expensive downtime. Hydraulics and PTO systems were prone to leaks and pressure loss, making routine tasks more frustrating than they should be. Even daily maintenance was complicated by cramped service access and outdated component designs. The aftermarket support is limited, and most repair jobs require experienced techs who know the quirks of this model, adding more labor costs to every visit. While the 8630 might look like an affordable way into big-earned territory, it's anything but cheap to own and operate. So before you commit to one, ask yourself, is the name on the hood worth the money pit that follows? Number 10. The white 22155 Field Boss may carry an aura of old-school American toughness, but beneath its bold name and squared-off frame lies a tractor known for draining time, money, and patience. Produced in the late 1970s through the early 1980s, the 2-155 was part of White's Field Boss series aimed at medium to large-scale farmers, offering around 155 horsepower from a turbocharged 6-cylinder, 478 cubic inch Hercules engine. It featured a solid mechanical transmission, closed center hydraulics, and a rugged design intended to compete with the likes of Deere and Case. At first glance, it appeared to deliver big performance without the premium price. But ownership tells a different story. The Hercules engine, while powerful, is one of the biggest reasons to stay away. Has a reputation for being temperamental, undercooled, and extremely expensive to rebuild due to scarce parts and limited aftermarket support. Cracked heads, failing injectors, and oil leaks are all too common, and few modern shops are familiar with this aging pattern. The transmission, though functional, becomes a nightmare if internal repairs are needed, as parts are hard to find and labor-intensive to access. Electrical issues are also frequent, with aging wiring harnesses and corroded connectors leading to unpredictable failures. The cab, while spacious for its time, offers little insulation and poor visibility by modern standards, and many of the control systems feel outdated and prone to wear. Hydraulics can suffer from inconsistent pressure, and PTO issues often arise after years of hard pulling, requiring complex disassembly. What's worse is that despite all these potential problems, resale value remains low, meaning you'll likely never recoup your investment if things go south. For collectors or those with a deep attachment to the White brand, the 2-155 might still hold appeal, but for a working operation, it's a gamble on fading support and rising maintenance costs. So before you roll this Field Boss into your lineup, ask yourself, are you ready to be the one paying the price for keeping a relic alive? Number 9. The Case 450 crawler dozer might look like a compact workhorse built for pushing dirt and clearing land, but it's also a machine that can quietly bleed your wallet dry through expensive and frequent maintenance. Produced starting in the early 1970s, the 450 was marketed as a versatile mid-sized dozer powered by a 4-cylinder diesel engine delivering around 55 horsepower, with options for direct drive or power shuttle transmissions. It was popular for its maneuverability and solid blade performance in tight job sites, but long-term ownership reveals a host of frustrating issues. The undercarriage, often the most expensive system to maintain, is a major weak point. Tracks, rollers, idlers, and pins wear quickly, especially on older machines, and full replacements can cost several $1,000s, often more than the dozer's resale value. Steering clutch and brake problems are also common, requiring extensive tear-down just to access hydraulic cylinders, and hoses frequently leak. And the cramped layout makes even basic service jobs feel like a major undertaking. Worse yet, sourcing original parts has become increasingly difficult, and aftermarket options are hit or miss. Many mechanics are no longer familiar with the quirks of these older machines, driving up labor time and cost. While the Case 450 may seem like a bargain up front, it often becomes a financial trap hidden under rust and grease. So before buying, ask yourself, is this aging crawler really worth the never-ending repairs waiting just below the surface? Number 8. The Case 1470 Traction King might have stood tall as an early pioneer in four-wheel drive tractor design, but owning one today can feel more like inheriting a mechanical money pit than a reliable workhorse. Introduced in the early 1970s, the 1470 was Case's bold attempt at building a high horsepower, articulated for WD tractor, delivering around 165 horsepower from a turbocharged 6-cylinder diesel engine. With its unique center-articulated frame, solid pulling power, and rugged construction, it was aimed squarely at big-acre farming. However, what looked good on paper didn't always translate to the field. The 1470 suffered from drivetrain and articulation joint which can be expensive and labor-intensive to repair. The transmission, a power shift or manual depending on model, is known to have durability issues under load, especially if not perfectly maintained. Parts availability today is a serious challenge. Many components must be sourced from salvage yards or custom fabricated, driving up both cost and downtime. The steering system and hydraulics are also outdated and prone to failure, requiring specialized knowledge to repair properly. Even basic tasks like seal replacements or engine service often turn into major jobs due to cramped access and poor serviceability. While the Traction King name carries history, the cost of keeping one field ready today often outweighs the nostalgia. So before diving into this classic, ask yourself, are you ready to pay premium prices just to keep a relic running? Number 7. The Big Bud 16V747 is a one-of-a-kind legend in the farming world. Known as the largest agricultural tractor ever built, but beneath its jaw-dropping specs lies a mountain of maintenance challenges that make it more of a museum piece than a practical tool. Built in 1977 by Northern Manufacturing in Havre, Montana, this behemoth was created for deep tillage work on massive farms, producing a staggering 900 horsepower from a 16-cylinder Detroit diesel, 16 volts 92T engine, measuring over 27 feet long, 20 feet wide, and weighing over 100,000 pounds fully loaded. It was designed to pull implements over 80 feet wide. While its brute force is impressive, the reality of owning and maintaining the 16V747 is anything but simple. The engine is a fuel-hungry, outdated powerhouse that requires specialized knowledge to service, and sourcing parts is increasingly difficult as Detroit diesel no longer supports many components. The custom Goodyear LSW 1400 tires must be special, ordered and cost tens of thousands alone. Hydraulics, drivetrain parts, and electronics are all unique to this tractor, meaning custom fabrication is often the only solution. Even basic tasks like oil changes involve massive volumes and equipment most shops can't handle. And because it's one of one, there's no economy of scale. Every fix is a custom job. While the Big Bud 16 volts minus 747 commands attention, it also commands a massive budget. So before chasing this icon, ask yourself, are you ready to maintain the world's biggest tractor with a wallet to match its size? Number 6. The Yanmar TC11 might look like the perfect compact tractor for hobby farms, orchards, or light-duty chores. But behind its small frame lies a series of frustrating and costly maintenance issues that make it a risky investment. Built with simplicity in mind, the TC11 runs on an 11-horsepower diesel engine and features basic gear-driven transmission and mechanical controls. While that sounds like low-maintenance farming, the reality is far more complicated. This model was produced in limited numbers and often sold in specific regional markets, making parts extremely difficult to source today. Even basic components like oil filters, fan belts, clutch plates, or electrical parts are often model-specific and unavailable through mainstream dealers. You'll either spend weeks hunting parts online or pay a premium to import them from overseas suppliers. To make matters worse, few mechanics are familiar with the TC11, and even fewer have access to service manuals or diagnostic tools for it. Repairs that should be simple, like fuel system cleaning or hydraulic leak scan, become expensive due to trial and error labor. Add to that its underpowered performance, which struggles with heavier implements or inclines, and you're left with a machine that promises more frustration than productivity. While its compact size and diesel efficiency might seem like a win, the maintenance costs say otherwise. So before choosing the Yanmar TC11, ask yourself, is the upfront savings worth the long-term hassle of keeping this rare machine running? Number 5. The Case IH 5140. Especially units tied to the JULHO July production batch, often found in Brazilian or Latin American markets. Might appear to be a solid mid-range tractor, but it's one that quietly drags owners into a cycle of frustrating and expensive maintenance. As part of the respected Maxim series, the 5140 delivers around 120 horsepower from a turbocharged 6-cylinder diesel engine, and it was marketed as a versatile, loader-capable machine, ideal for row crop and general utility work, while its performance was respectable. Several key design and production issues, particularly in July-built models, make it a ticking time bomb. The power shift transmission, known for jerky shifts and premature clutch wear, is a common failure point, and rebuilds can cost thousands, especially when parts need to be imported or ordered from overseas warehouses. The electronic shuttle and hydraulic controls are also known to suffer from wiring faults and sensor failures, with diagnosis requiring specialized tools that most independent mechanics simply don't have. JULHO models have been linked with batch-specific inconsistencies, such as poor quality wiring harnesses and software glitches in the control modules, making reliability hit or miss. The closed-center hydraulic system is powerful but complex, with pump replacements and internal leaks adding to the repair bills. While the Case IH 5140 may seem like a budget-friendly workhorse, the truth is it demands constant attention and deep pockets. So before putting one to work, ask yourself, is this really a tractor or an expensive guessing game in red paint? Number 4. The Farmal Model H may be a beloved icon of early American agriculture, but today it often serves more as a nostalgic display piece than a reliable workhorse, and trying to keep one field ready can lead to a slow drain of time and money. Manufactured between 1939 and 1953, the H was equipped with a 4-cylinder gasoline engine producing roughly 26 horsepower and was praised for its innovative design, comfortable operator platform, and suitability for row crop farming. Back in its prime, it was affordable, dependable, and easy to operate, making it one of the most popular tractors of its time. However, those strengths have faded with age. Mechanical wear is nearly guaranteed at this point, with key components like magnetos, carburetors, governors, rear axles, and brake bands often needing replacement or repair. While parts can still be found, many are reproduction or salvaged, meaning quality varies and fitment isn't always perfect. More serious repairs often require pulling the engine, splitting the chassis, or fabricating bushings or seals. Most modern mechanics aren't equipped for DeVint. Routine maintenance becomes complicated due to the tractor's vintage systems and lack of modern service compatibility. And unless you're doing the wrenching yourself, labor costs can quickly outpace the value of the machine. While the Farmal H is undeniably charming and historically important, its practical use today is limited by the high cost of keeping it running smoothly. So before bringing one back to life, ask yourself, are you chasing a working tractor, signing up for a permanent restoration project in disguise? Number 3. The Deutzel 9170 may look like a serious contender in the world of high-horsepower tractors, but beneath its aggressive styling and big performance numbers lies a machine infamous for expensive and often unpredictable maintenance. Built during the late 1980s under the short-lived Deutzel brand, the 9170 came equipped with a turbocharged air-cooled Deutz VH diesel engine pumping out approximately 220 horsepower and mounted on an articulated four-wheel drive platform designed for heavy tillage and large-acre operations. While its design promised strength and reliability, the reality is that the 9170 is one of the more difficult tractors to keep running smoothly today. The air-cooled engine, while unique, runs hot under pressure and requires spotless cooling, fins and unrestricted airflow to prevent overheating, something rarely achieved in dusty field environments. Miss that, and you're looking at head gasket issues, piston scoring, or even full engine failure. Replacement parts are a major obstacle. Many are specific to this model and are either out of production or only available at high cost from specialty importers. The ZF PowerShift transmission, though robust in theory, is complex and very expensive to rebuild when problems arise. Add in outdated electronics, brittle wiring, weak hydraulic couplers, and poor access to service points, and you're stuck with a machine that needs constant attention. Few modern technicians are trained to work on this unique Deutz engine transmission combo, making labor slow and costly. What started as an affordable path to big iron power often becomes a long-term project just to stay in the field. So before you fall for the big frame and big promise, ask yourself, can you afford a tractor where every fix is a rare part, every repair a challenge, and every season a gamble? Number 2. The Massey Ferguson 97 might catch the eye of vintage tractor fans with its classic styling and sheer pulling power. But beneath that tough exterior lies a machine that can quickly become a bottomless pit of expensive maintenance and hard-to-find parts. Built during the 1960s and early 1970s, the MF97 was part of Massey's heavy-duty lineup, offering up to 150 horsepower thanks to a massive six-cylinder Diesel engine usually sourced from either General Motors or Perkins, depending on the version. Its rugged, no-nonsense design made it a powerhouse in its day, ideal for big field work and tough conditions. But decades later, owning one of these brutes is not for the faint of heart or wallet. The Detroit diesel two-stroke engine variant is loud, fuel-hungry, and known for oil leaks, requiring precise tuning and frequent upkeep to keep running right. And if you own the Perkins-powered version, you're still looking at high parts costs and limited availability. Hydraulic systems are outdated and prone to leaks. Steering components wear out quickly, and brake parts are notoriously difficult to source. The sheer age of the machine means most components are either obsolete or require salvage yard hunting and custom fabrication. Electrical systems are basic but unreliable, and the clutch and transmission, while tough, can become a nightmare if internal repairs are needed. Even tires for the MF97's size are costly and hard to come by. While it may seem like a cost-effective way into big horsepower farming, keeping a Massey Ferguson 97 operational today demands deep mechanical knowledge, a long list of contacts, and a steady stream of cash. So before climbing into the seat of this iron giant, ask yourself, are you chasing classic power or signing up for a constant battle against age, scarcity, and expense? Number 1. The Long 2610 might seem like a practical and cost-effective choice for small farm operations. But beneath its simple appearance lies a tractor that often turns into a financial and logistical maintenance nightmare. Built in the 1980s and early 1990s by Longag business, the 2610 was assembled in the United States using mostly Romanian-made components sourced through a licensing agreement with UTB Universal Tractor Breaksoff. It offers roughly 60 to 70 horsepower, a manual transmission, and a straightforward layout that, at first glance, promises durability and simplicity. However, the reality for many owners is the exact opposite. The engine, while generally tough, uses parts that are no longer readily available, and sourcing even basic components like head gaskets, water pumps, injector parts, or clutch assemblies, it can be a frustrating and expensive process. Most parts must be imported or found through niche suppliers, with wait times stretching into weeks or even months. The hydraulic system is another weak point, with worn pumps and leaky control valves being common problems, often requiring custom or hard-to-find replacements. Electrical issues are also a recurring theme, as the original wiring harnesses were built with low-grade insulation that breaks down over time, leading to short circuits and hard-to-trace faults. Compounding the issue is the lack of mechanic familiarity. Few shops are willing or able to work on these obscure machines, and those that do often charge more due to the additional time needed to diagnose and repair unfamiliar systems. What was once marketed as a farmer-friendly workhorse has now become a challenge to keep field-ready. So before hitching up a Long 2610, ask yourself, are you ready to trade short-term savings for long-term frustration and a parts hunt that feels more like a scavenger mission than a repair job?